What's going on, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the guy Knight, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today, we're in the Hall of Spoilers to talk about the Justice League movie. Specifically, Diane Lane triggering some people out there with some comments that may or may not have been misconstrued. Essentially, she was asked in an interview, whether or not she thought the Avengers, or rather Justice League, would be a better movie than the Avengers, to which she essentially responded, no. And whether or not you agree with those comments or not, me and DeepBoyce, we sat here, we was in Hall of Spoilers, we was sitting back looking at some fine pictures of Diane Lane, because she's a beautiful woman. And we said to ourselves, how could Justice League be better than the Avengers? Specifically, the first Avengers movie. Not all the, not Age of Ultron, not upcoming Infinity War, but how could Justice League be good in its own right?
Absolutely.
So, DeepBoyce, what do we do, man? Why are we here?
Well, we brainstormed a couple reasons, as you said, and we're going to, I guess, lay them out there for the people listening, people watching on YouTube. Top 5 reasons, or top 5 ways that the upcoming Justice League movie can be better than the original Avengers movie.
Indeed, a kiss.
So let's start off with number 1.
Hit us with number 1, man.
Number 1, we're looking for this movie to avoid origin stories for their characters. Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, any and everyone that's in this movie. I mean, we don't want to be in that movie theater for 5 hours. And you got a story to tell that you want to entertain people with. And I think we kind of get the gist. I mean,
indeed,
keep it short and sweet, like Hazy alluded to. And I think you made a good point by saying maybe a few flashbacks here. And there was, from the trailers we got, we're probably going to see some of the backstory of some of these characters, maybe in flashbacks.
Definitely. I mean, we're 100% going to see some flashbacks or some type of insight, at least into Cyborg's background, because you see some scenes of him playing football and some of the trailers that have been released. You also see him in a varsity jacket, fully human, no metal on his outward body.
Yep.
But I think it would be a dope way to go about it if they avoided the whole of talking about everybody's origins. There's just not enough time.
There is.
So flashbacks, quick summaries, and keep it short and sweet, man. The only character I could justify, and I'm gonna say why, is Cyborg, and that's because I feel like, in the comics currently, his technology is tied to like the Mother Box technology, so like the technology that Darkseid has on Apocalypse, essentially. The Mother Box is essentially how they open like tubes. Where people from Apocalypse can travel from here to there. Not just people from Apocalypse, new gods in general. But I think Cyborg may get an origin story, but keep it short and sweet, y'all. We don't got time for this.
Yes,
let's get to the work, man. Which brings us to our second point, which our second way that Justice League could be better than the Avengers, or a good movie at least, is to give the characters compelling reasons for why they want to fight together, man. So just we don't want to see all this, I'm trying to figure out how to use my powers. And, I'm trying to... No. Give them a reason for why they need each other. This is called the Justice League. This is not called, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and friends, okay?
Yeah.
So what we want is to see the team work together. And that's going to be, lead us into our next point. But we want to see each person have their individual roles and their reasons for having a team or being on a team. So we know with Batman, he's the master strategist, man. He's going to be the de facto leader, at least until Superman comes back. And we want to see him, as they've stated, be inspired by the sacrifice of Superman at the end of Batman vs. Superman, and have him, kind of reconnect to humanity. We want to see Wonder Woman as this person who's drawn to protecting and defending. We see that in the trailers for Wonder Woman that's, coming out this summer, where she has this calling to defend. And we want to see that from Wonder Woman in Justice League. For Aquaman, we want to see him trying to find a home. This guy's been torn between, being an Atlantean and being I guess, human, and we want to see that struggle within, man. We want to see the Flash as this loner and even a young hero maybe who's trying to find his niche or trying to find, mentors potentially. He could even look at Batman as potential father figure. We know his father is in prison in the Justice League movie, probably for being framed for the murder of his mother, connected to the whole Eobard Thawne thing. Eobard Thawne being the Reverse Flash who killed his mom, but let's not get into that. And last but not least, Cyborg. He lost everything, and specifically him trying to find his humanity by protecting it. And if you're noticing a common theme here, we want to see these Justice Leaguers fighting together because they are also looking for their own individual humanity. Yeah, that goes for Superman as well. And I don't even need to say, Superman's a Kryptonian. He's a god living on Earth, man.
Yeah. I mean, Warner Bros. Cannot afford for anyone to fall on the wayside here. I mean, I guess in comparison to the Avengers, where, we all like the Avengers, but some of these characters are sort of minor characters, maybe even side characters in a sense. Yeah, every player in the Justice League, with, I guess, the exception of maybe Cyborg, no offense, is a huge character in their own right. So each of these characters they have to do right by each of these characters. Superman, Absolutely. Wonder Woman, Flash, etc. And the characters that were lucky enough to have a movie or be in a movie before Justice League, let's see them grow some more. Let's see them change a bit. Let's see Batman soften up a bit. Let's see, I don't know, whatever kind of character arc they go with Wonder Woman. Let's see her grow and see her change, maybe become into the leader or the representative of the Amazons. Let's see, Superman's role, let's see the stakes become bigger for Superman, that he has to save more than just Metropolis in this next movie.
Definitely. And Justice League does not have the luxury of the Avengers in that they don't have these, heroes that they were able to build up with single solo movies, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they need to get right into it, and they need to, show the inner struggles of the characters without any hesitation. We don't got time for the origin stories. Just show us why these guys want to be together, man. Yeah. Which leads us to number 3, man.
Yeah, number 3. Go ahead.
We want the Justice League to be front and center for the majority of the movie Avengers. We looking at you, Avengers.
Yeah, it is. It is called the Justice League. Indeed. So, maybe spend some time developing some other plot elements or some other characters. Maybe Jim Gordon or, I don't know, Lois Lane, and definitely the villains.
Lois Lane.
But let's get to the good stuff. Have the Justice League together as soon as you can in the movie and have them working together and fighting threats from the get-go. We don't need to beat around the bush. Just like we said earlier, we don't need to spend all this time with backstories and meandering in the past. We get it. Give us a little bit of seasoning there, but we want to get right into that steak. We want to eat that big juicy steak of this movie. Justice League, all of them together, working. That's what we want to see.
Now, that being said, we're not saying that they shouldn't have any, inner conflicts or any issues with each other or any, situations where we're like, hey, why can't these guys get along? But we definitely want less infighting than they have in the Avengers. Because in the Avengers, they just could not get along with each other, man.
They couldn't. Hell, we had a whole movie in the DC universe that was one guy versus the other guy.
That's a very good point.
So let's see the good guys versus the bad guys. Let's get back to that.
Indeed, man. And that being said, man, we don't want any subplots like how Avengers had S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Tesseract. Like, no offense to the Avengers, it worked for that movie. We don't need that for the Justice League, man. We don't need some clandestine organization or some, I fear that there is going to be a focus on some type of artifact, and that being a mother box. Because in one of the trailers for Justice League, you see like these, they look like some sort of medieval knights, if you want to call them that. Yeah. We see them burying something that I believe to be a mother box, but, we don't need all those subplots.
Yeah,
man.
You could tie those in right into what the character motivations are. Maybe that ancient artifact has something to do with Wonder Woman. Maybe the other mother box obviously has to do with Cyborg, so there's a connection there. Any of those loose threads there. You don't have to lead into any other stories. Yeah, the big thing now is to make a big connected universe, but newsflash, there's only really one studio that's doing that correctly, and that's Marvel. And I'm just talking about in movies in general, because a lot of other franchises and movies are trying to do this, and only one of them has been able to do it fine thus far. You don't have to do what they're doing. Just have the movies, make sure the movie is good in and of itself.
Indeed. With the Justice League front and center, with a lack of subplots, many subplots like S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Tesseract or some type of thing like that, we want to see something regarding our villains, man. So the villain of Justice League is Steppenwolf, yes. Right? But we all know, y'all, that they're alluding to Darkseid. So number 4, don't hide Darkseid, man. Don't because your risk. Darkseid is already very similar to Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. We don't need no end credit scenes where it's like, oh, Darkseid, everybody. Like, we didn't know that. Let it be known that Steppenwolf is either working for or with Darkseid. Yeah. Don't hide Darkseid. He can still be, he doesn't need to be, out there fighting the battle, but make him a background character where we know there's this looming threat out there, but Steppenwolf is what we've got to take care of now.
Yeah.
And if maybe the idea is, if we can't deal with Steppenwolf, how are we going to deal with Darkseid?
Absolutely.
Use him as a plot device, use Steppenwolf as a plot device to set up this greater villain. Now, Steppenwolf, not many people know about him in the comics. I barely know about him in the comics, but you don't want to also fall into that pitfall of having Steppenwolf just be cookie cutter.
Yeah.
But that being said, if he's used in a good way to show the power of Darkseid, I can't hate on that. So let's do it up, man.
Totally agree. I mean, look, we've said this time and time again with Marvel. They do a subpar job with their villains. You could even say they do a bad job with their villains.
Yes.
If you don't have to kill Steppenwolf, you can have him live to see another day. Establish that character. Show the threat of Darkseid. Show why Darkseid needs the entire Justice League to fight him off. Just make them look badass. You don't have to kill them off right away. Just develop them as well as you develop your core characters.
And this is probably the hardest point for them to beat the Avengers in, because, whether you like Loki or not, like, Loki was well established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the time he had his Marvel Avengers debut. I mean, the man was in Thor. He's probably the best. He's probably the character that came off the best in Thor. And then he showed up for the Avengers, and it just worked. His arc. This quest for power, it worked out well, and it ended up making Thanos look stronger, where Loki was just a pawn.
Yep.
Now you're not gonna have that benefit with Steppenwolf. We don't know Steppenwolf.
Yeah. But
you could at least use him well to make Darkseid look stronger, which means, in my interpretation, don't hide Darkseid from us. Yep. Don't stretch it out. Just throw us right in there with Darkseid. Still kind of keep him out of the main picture, because it appears that the next Justice League movie is probably going to revolve around him. But I don't know. We don't need you guys teasing it like Thanos kind of popped out at the end of the Avengers. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to number 5. What do we got, DeepBoyce? The final reason, the final way. This kind of ties everything together, but the final way Justice League could be better than Avengers, or a good movie in its own right.
We want the Justice League movie to do a good job of world building. We want this movie to establish a foundation for the DCEU from here on forward. This is obviously a contentious point of view. People are not going to agree with us, but I think Hazy also agrees with me that Warner Brothers has not really put us into this universe, into this shared world where all these movies are supposed to be in. They haven't really done a good enough job, because the movies haven't quite, lived up to the expectations, to our expectations as moviegoers and as fan of comic books. You have an opportunity to really blow us out of the water with this Justice League movie. And yeah, it's going to be very difficult with a lot of moving parts, but you can do something to kind of just leave us wanting for more. And not only that, leave us excited for whatever's after this. Whatever the Batman movie is, or the Superman of Steel 2, or Justice League 2, or Wonder Woman 2, or the Flash movie, Nightwing, Green Lantern, etc., etc. You have a lot of, again, super iconic characters. I mean, quintessential, archetypes when it comes to heroes in this Justice League movie. So,
absolutely,
make them all great to see on the screen. Make us love Barry Allen and Batman and Wonder Woman and Cyborg and Superman and not only that, but show us how these guys are fun to see all together. Make us want us to see that next Justice League movie.
And there are minor ways they can do that. I mean, let's just rotate. Let's go through some of the characters. I mean, Superman, right? Like it or not, whether you like Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman or not, you can't deny that his portrayal of Superman has been polarizing. There are people who love him. There are people who hate him. Give us a Superman that we can all unite behind. A Superman that does inspire hope, like the Superman character is known to inspire. Batman. We know Batman has had this, this past where he's gone down a really dark road where he was this loner. How about we, establish a world where, we know that Batman used to work with a team. You hear in the trailer, Jim Gordon says to him, it's glad to see you playing nice with others again. Build that world where we know that Batman had a Bat family, which means there's a whole story to go into there. With Aquaman, I mean, the man is part of a royal family that, has drama the likes of Game of Thrones. The likes of Game of Thrones has never seen. There's issues with him and his family. Establish, his role as a would-be king. The Flash. I mean, we already talked about the Flash having issues with his father being in prison. Talk about that. Build that world out, man. Flesh it out and have a place where all these characters can go forward from in the DCEU.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway, guys, let us know how you think the Justice League movie could be good. How do you think it can be better than the Avengers? Does it even need to be better than the Avengers? I mean, that's one thing that we kind of didn't say. Justice League, be your own thing. You don't have to compete with the Avengers, man. You don't have to. We just want to see the movie be good. That being said, if you like anything you heard today, hit us with a like or subscribe. And by all means, visit the comment section so you can hang out in the Hall of Spoilers and talk with us about the Justice League movie. DeepBoyce, we are getting out of the Hall of Spoilers. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bong bong.
Peace out.
Flying out. I'm out.